episode 80 for 22nd, 2021. We have a big crowd today, 86 people in the audience. Thank you so much for coming. I always say we get our enthusiasm from your energy. So we keep making the videos and making the shows because we have so many people come out and watch us each week. We have a bunch of people over on our YouTube channel, so that's great. As you know, the show is broadcast not just to through our Zoom meeting here, but it's broadcast over onto YouTube as well. So if you can't make the Zoom meeting sometime, you can just watch it over on these YouTube side. For those of you over on YouTube, the show will last about 50 minutes just before our music segment. And then if you want to, we'll see how many spots we have open. You can pop over here to the Zoom meeting and you can participate in our question and answer period. And so that's the plan. We have a really great show today for you. Lots of interesting things happening. And we will not be having, because this is of course, is Thanksgiving this week. And I hope everyone has a safe, if you're traveling, travel safely, and that you enjoy your families. We will not be having Tech for Senior live this Thursday. I think Hewie and Bob are eating turkey all day. So is that right, Hewie? Are you eating? You said you're eating turkey.
Absolutely. And you know what? If anybody really misses us, they can go back and watch some of the recordings.
That's right. We got all those recordings there. They can watch us all day long. We could be the reruns for Thanksgiving. Wouldn't that be cool, eh?
Thanksgiving Day special. Tech Seniors all day, all night.
There you go. There you go. So that's, and also Learning Chromebooks. Huey's going to be sending out a note for everybody just to remind them that there will be no Learning Chromebooks in November. We're taking the holiday in November, and we are going to be back in, what is it, December 23rd, Huey?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be back doing our next one will be December 23rd. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I want to thank Ann Peabody for her generous donation to our Ko-fi fund. Thank you. Thank you, Anne. For those of you who, let me just play it. Hold on a second. I just got to play I had so much fun making this intro. This is sort of what we're going to do today. So rather than me tell you what we're going to do, let me just share the screen and we'll just play this. Hey, it's Ron Brown. I'm out for a cycle in Comox, British Columbia on my e-bike. I just remembered I better invite you to our November 22nd meeting of Tech for Seniors. Yes, we have a great show for you on Monday. I'll be starting out with the introductions. Then, of course, Bob will have his latest security update and lots happening there. We're going to follow this with Dewey's Tech Talk. He's got some great topics for you on Monday. And then I'm going to be talking on two-factor authentication, the 5 things you know to prepare yourself for the mandatory two-factor authentication that Google is rolling out now. So you better be prepared. And then Huey's going to talk on Internet Archives again, and he's going to tell you about the Wayback Machine. Bob's going to talk about a new Chrome feature, copy link to highlight. And Ray has some toe-tapping music. We'll finish it off with top of the hour for a question and answer period. Then we'll move on to our Premiere service, our YouTube Premiere service. And have we got a lineup for you today? Yes. Dewey Cluse is going to talk on browser extensions. Ray's going to tell us how we can log on with Windows Hello. Huey's going to talk on tips and tricks with your Chromebook. And I'm going to tell you how to find apps and install them on your Chromebook. All on our Adobe Premiere service coming after the show. So lots happening on Monday. Be sure and come and visit us. Details at www.techforsenior.com. So there we go. Dewey said he got motion sick watching it. So I'll try and do a standalone one next time. Anyway, let me introduce everyone today. Hewie, what's your plans for Thanksgiving?
Turkey dinner here at the house.
How come you didn't invite me?
I did.
Oh, did you? I didn't get the invite. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
Oh, I thought you turned me down.
Oh. All right. Well, hopefully you have a good dinner and lots of fun, and we will for sure be ready to go. I guess the following Monday, because we don't have anything to do all week. We got the week off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, Bob. What's your plans?
I'll be spending it with some of my kids,
Mm-hmm.
grandkids, and great grandkids.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. Are you got any Black Friday buys that you're going to get, or you've already?
No. I spent my load when I bought that Pixel 6. And no.
No. Okay. All right then. And then Ray, what's happening? Do you have family up? What's your plans for the week?
Yes, actually, two of my three daughters do live in the Phoenix or Scottsdale area with their kids. So my daughter, whose birthday is on the 26th of November, so it's always right around Thanksgiving. She likes to host it and have it and makes it a great meal. So it'll be a Thanksgiving birthday party.
Hey, there you go. Well, hopefully you have a great time. And Dewey, you are busy packing and getting ready to head south, eh?
Yes, we are flying out a week from tomorrow night, tomorrow afternoon, actually, from the Twin Cities to Mesa.
There you go.
And
There
I
you
just
go.
wanted to mention something, Ron, that I record my presentations usually in one take. Consequently, I usually have some reading errors, which have been a little bit worse since I had my stroke 5 months ago. But anyway, I just want to tell people, read what's correct is on the text, not what I say for the most part, because if I mess up, I'm sorry about that, but that's the way it is. We'll try to do better. And I want to learn to edit my videos with Screencast-O-Matic, which Bob uses, but I haven't had time to learn it yet. So have a great day.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I know it's really frustrating. I mean, the video you'll see today, there's some typo errors in it. I mean, I don't know. You can look at these over and over and over again, but you always have some errors in them, and that's just life, right? What do you think, Bill? What's your gadgets? Are you going to spend time? What are you doing? Are you having Thanksgiving dinner with your family, or what's?
No, I'm going to have family Thanksgiving with friends.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get my gadget article prepared today, and something for Anne Marie is that another fun game might be Singo, where I'm going to try to do that with Christmas carols for my club. It's kind of a musical version of bingo.
There you go.
Roberta said with the price of admission, they expect perfection.
All right, listen,
What did you say? I didn't hear what you said.
Roberta had said that with the price of admission for this show.
Send me some info. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's Singo, Singo. It's a musical version of bingo.
Oh, okay. And I find it online like that?
You should be able to find some examples.
Thank you.
All right, so follow up in sort of before we get to my segment today, I wanted to just bring up an article this morning that I read, and this was cybersecurity company NordPass, which sells password management service, has published its list of top 200 most common passwords in Canada, and says too many Canadians are using passwords that are easily guessed. But there are a few entries that were unique to Canada, NordPass says. Canadians and perhaps the largest number of country-related passwords. Canada was the 5th most common password in this country. Another one was, of course, Toronto, Montreal, and Canada 1. There were also differences in the types of passwords preferred by men and women. Canadian men were 3 times more likely to use password like hockey, while passwords with women were honey, you, princess, and sunshine. NordPass says that 144 out of the top 144 passwords that Canadians use, all of them could be cracked in less than 1 second. So therein lies which Bob has of course been saying for years, right? And therein lies one of the big topics today will be the mandatory 2-factor authentication that Google is rolling out, and many of you probably already have it. So we're going to be talking about that today, and that's exactly why this is happening, is because passwords just don't work. Bob, speaking of security, are you ready to roll?
I think I am. Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending November 19th, 2021. 10 fundamental rights for crypto users. Cryptocurrency exchange Binance released a series of advertisements that push for more regulations in the crypto world and the establishment of 10 fundamental rights for all crypto users. Crypto belongs to all of us, Binance posted. But there's still work to be done if we want this breakthrough innovation to become part of our daily lives. Like seatbelts in a car, a more regulated crypto market provides greater protection for everyday users. Binance says that these 10 fundamental rights, which start with every human being should have access to financial tools like crypto, should be put in place to welcome the next billion users. The company also urged policymakers and regulators to support a global framework that protects users without limiting growth and innovation. Avast security evangelist Louis Carones commented that while protecting users is always a good idea, this one is backed by company interests as well. One of the big issues with cryptocurrencies is that they can be stolen, he said. We have seen this several times over the past few years, and when that happens, the owner loses everything. That scares people. In most countries, if you have money in the bank, you are protected up to a certain amount. But that's not the case with cryptocurrency. Binance's business is based on trading cryptocurrencies, so they are, of course, interested in having rules that protect people. This way, people can overcome the fear, and Binance can broaden the number of potential customers.
I'm fine. Hold on a
For more
second.
on this story, see ZDNet. Metropolis Technologies hides data mining in parking app. A new parking app developed by Metropolis Technologies claims to have re-engineered the legacy parking experience from the ground up. But a look at its 4,000-word privacy policy reveals that users must agree to deeply invasive online tracking across multiple devices. A Los Angeles Times article reported the story when shoppers at a Hollywood Trader Joe's were told to download an app, register for service, and then use that to pay for their parking in the store's garage. The privacy policy says it reserves the right to monitor pages that you visit before, during, and after using the online parking validation app. It also says that the company engages in cross-device tracking, which means it tracks your online activity no matter which device you use. A Trader Joe's spokesperson commented, "This has nothing to do with the store. It's just the parking policy of their building." Plant a tree for every pet picture goes viral. An Instagram post using the new Add Yours sticker informed users that a tree would be planted for every pet photo posted, but the post quickly got out of control. Over 3 million users responded, but the company behind the post, Plant a Tree Company, says they deleted their original post after 10 minutes because we immediately realized the post would grow too big and that we didn't have the resources to plant that many trees. Confusing matters further, many claim that Plant a Tree Company is actually a cadre of scammers who have launched similar empty campaigns in the past, according to Pedestrian. The Plant a Tree Company website does not include any information about the company itself, where it's based, or what it actually does. Google Chrome 96 breaks Twitter, Discord, video rendering, and more. Google Chrome 96 was released yesterday, and users are reporting problems with Twitter, Discord, and Instagram caused by the new version. After upgrading to Chrome 96, users reported errors in their Twitter notifications with the website warning that something went wrong. Try reloading. Other Twitter users are reporting that GIFs turned black, images not displaying, or videos unable to play in their place. Twitter shows the same error message reading something went wrong. The issue has been reported to Google in a Chromium bug post where Google employees have started to investigate the problems. Google states that you can fix these bugs in some cases by setting the Chrome flag hashtag cross-origin embedder policy credentialless to disable. There appears to be a Windows 11 issue with Intel audio drivers, which triggers blue screens. Microsoft has confirmed a new known issue impacting Windows 11 customers and triggered 2 blue screens of death on affected systems. The new issue is caused by compatibility issues between Intel Smart Sound Technology, audio drivers, and Windows 11 version 21H2. The company has also added a compatibility hold to block systems with impacted Intel SST audio drivers from being offered the Windows 11 upgrade. The safeguard ID is 368-99911. Customers are advised not to manually update to Windows 11 using the Media Creation tool or the Update Now button if their systems are affected by this known issue until Microsoft addresses the problem and removes the safeguard. For years, it's been a best practice to have separate systems and devices for work and home. Findings from a new survey carried out by Avast underscores the fact that companies and employees aren't following the best practice at an alarming rate. Follow the link below for the full report. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bob. That was great. Dewey, did you want to say anything before I play your segment, or did you mentioned that before?
No, I mentioned it before.
Okay, no problem. Okay, let's see what Dewey has to say today. We will.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is Streaming TV Update Part 2, November 2021. Last week, I ended my Tech Talk on streaming TV by saying, well, I've got a lot more to tell you, but I've run out of time. Maybe I'll just save it for next week. Well, that's today, so here goes. A recent article at cordcutters.com noted that the popular streaming service Pluto TV had just added 10 new free channels to its holiday streaming lineup. And here's what's new. Well, first, of course, for those who aren't familiar with Pluto TV, it's an AVOD, advertising-based video on demand service, which means it's totally free. It's owned and operated by Viacom CBS Streaming. Pluto TV has more than 250 channels, and as of last July, it had 54 million monthly users across 3 continents. It's had marvelous growth this year. Streaming Pluto TV is easy because you don't even need to register with an email address or input credit card information. Just fire up Pluto's website or the app, and you can start watching TV shows immediately. Now, here are those 10 new free holiday channels. Pluto TV Christmas. Watch family-friendly holiday movies and specials. Pluto TV Mistletoe. Holiday romance and dramas 24/7. Home for the holidays. Festive recipes for great holiday cooking all month long. Cena Navideño. Christmas and holiday specials in Spanish. Crackling fireplace. Natural sounds with a roaring fire. Festive fireplace. Enjoy a traditional Yule log and holiday music any time of the day. Holiday lights. Fill your screen with wonderful displays and delightful holiday music. Vivo Holiday. Current and classic videos to help you celebrate the season. Rainbow Squad. Join the power of holiday spirit and the magic of friendship. Lego Kids TV, Ninjago, Friends, City, and more. You have everything here on demand. Those are Pluto TV's words, and it's free. Now, on the heels of that announcement by cordcutters.com came another one from that newsletter noting that Pluto TV was adding an additional 5 channels. We just talked about Pluto, but these channels include Iron Chef, 48 Hours, Teen Mom, there's another one, Pluto VS, and a collection of TV's best physical competition shows. Even at $0 per month, Pluto TV is a bargain, and it has less commercial breaks than most AVODs. Not to be outdone, cordcuttersnews.com also reported that the Roku channel added 15 new channels to its free TV lineup, which already includes over 150 channels and a live channel guide pictured to the right. I'll spare you listing the 15 channels, but for your information, the Roku channel is readily available on all streaming devices, including Apple TV and Amazon's Fire TV. Andrew Heinzman, writing at ReviewGeek.com, suggests that if you use Chromecast, don't update your smartphone to the new Android 12 operating system. The reason? It's because of a legal dispute that caused Google to disable one of Chromecast's key features in Android 12, the ability to adjust the volume and playback of your streaming stick or smart TV from your phone. Being able to control volume and playback using your phone's volume rockers and touchscreen has been a hallmark of Comcast's protocol going way back. Of course, the latest Chromecast streamers arrive with its new remote control. Heinzman speculates the problem may be due to a recent preliminary ruling in speaker maker Sonos's lawsuit against Google. Sonos claims that Google infringed on several of its smart speaker patents. Both features should return in the upcoming Android 12L update. Until then, if you're a Chromecast user on Android 12, you'll have no choice but to control streaming TV's volume from the TV's remote or from the Google Home app. I've often claimed that a streaming device like Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and so forth makes a smart TV even smarter. But now I'm considering altering my outlook on that claim, and here's why. Jared Newman, writing at techhive.com last Friday, appears to challenge this with an article titled Smart TVs versus a streaming player, which is best for cord cutting. Newman says that you might get better performance from a streaming player, but your smart TV software might offer more features. He offers these suggestions to help you decide. First, try your smart TV software to see how it works. Check if it has or can load the streaming TV channels you plan to use, that it doesn't feel really slow to operate, and that you're content with the TV's remote control and menu system. If so, you can probably get by without parting with some bucks for a streaming device. However, you should know some downsides of smart TVs. They tend to have a poor record for long-term software updates, can be privacy invasive, and might use slower processors that drag down responsiveness and load times. You can avoid these problems by buying what I'm now calling a smarter smart TV. That's one with Roku, Fire TV, or Android TV software built right in. You'll get the same apps and features as their streaming player counterparts. And the more you spend on a smarter smart TV, the more likely its processor will be sufficiently zippy. Shown as a Roku TV made by TCL. And of course, I can tell you that this will warm Ron Brown's heart because that's his TV of choice, as I understand it. Another area where such smart TVs excel is in providing a simpler HDR or HDR plus setup automatically. You needn't worry about HDMI cables or inputs to achieve the best quality. Many Samsung and LG TVs come with detailed channel guides, as you see to the right here. That's one from LG. These channel guides are for over-the-air antennas, and some smarter TVs running Roku, Fire TV, and Android TV software as well. Also, you're able to use a single remote designed specifically for your TV. So those are some reasons why it might be well to use the type of TV Ron uses. Some Android TVs and Fire TVs, including Amazon's new Omni TVs, have built-in microphones. So you can launch videos, control playback, adjust volume, or switch inputs without touching the remote. This is simpler than setting up a Fire TV Cube or trying to pair an external smart speaker with your streaming player. If you're using a Roku TV with the company's sound bars or wireless speakers, you'll get hassle-free setup and the ability to control settings through your TV's remote. That's great. Since Apple doesn't make smart TVs, a separate Apple TV device is the only way to get the most powerful streaming device on the market today, a wonderful streaming player that's refreshingly ad-free. The Apple TV 4K 32 gigabyte model is $170 on sale at Amazon now. Likewise, the NVIDIA Shield TV has no equal if you wanted an Android TV, an Android TV streaming device with the best possible performance. The standard Shield TV, which is at the upper right, is $150 and on sale now for $130 at Amazon and Best Buy. The Shield TV Pro, which is the lower right, it's a bigger model, is $200 and it is not on sale. The NVIDIA Shield TV is powered by a Tegra X1 Plus processor and runs Android TV software beautifully. It supports Dolby Vision HDR, Dolby Atmos surround sound, and does 4K as well. Also, you can stream straight from your phone with its built-in Chromecast 4K. That's pretty neat. It comes in a tubular body, which NVIDIA says can help avoid wireless interference. It has a gigabit Ethernet port and a micro SD card slot for storage expansion. You can control a Shield TV with your voice using Google Assistant and issue commands with Alexa through an Amazon Echo speaker. Though it's kind of long in tooth, the NVIDIA Shield TV is still first class. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm sticking with it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and we won't see you again, or we won't see you next week because my honey and I will be packing next Monday to leave for Arizona the very next day for our special place there at Silveridge RV Resort. But we will see you on Monday, December 6th, and I'm looking forward to it. Bye now.
There we go. Thank you, Dewey, and we wish you safe travels to Mesa, Arizona. And
thanks much.
We hope you and Joanne have a good trip down. I hear you're going business class.
Well, that's what was arranged. We got some American Airlines first class tickets for $371 on sale. An amazing bargain.
There you go. There you go. Great. Excellent. Thank you. All right. I'm going to move on now, and we're going to do the first of two videos you're going to see. The second one will be next week. And this is, of course, on two-factor authentication, which is a timely topic because you will, if you do use Google as a service, you will be required to use the two-factor authentication. So let's see what this is all about, and we'll have a look at this video. Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. 5 things you must do before Google enables two-factor authentication. Let's have a look. Two-factor authentication was developed by Google in 2010. Since that time, I've taught many courses on it and helped a lot of people initiate and get two-factor authentication initiated and set up. Despite the ironclad protection it gives your account, there's still only 10 to 20% of people that have really adopted this technology. So Google said, that's it. It's going to be mandatory. And the change has already started. So two-factor authentication will be required for your Google account. What has happened in the last couple of months? Well, those of you who are YouTube creators, in other words, if you've uploaded a video to your YouTube channel, then you will be classified as a creator, and you must have two-factor authentication turned on in October, a couple of months ago. So that has happened to those people. And Google now is moving into the next phase where it's auto-enrolling 150 million people into two-factor authentication. So it is extremely important that you watch this video, because the 5 things you need to do before they do this are so important. Because if it gets mixed up, you are going to have to phone Google, and nobody wants to do that. So be sure and watch this video. I will have a second video coming out next week that will explain the 4 phases of two-factor authentication and the changes that have occurred. So if you do teach two-factor authentication, there are some changes that are occurring with this auto rollout, and I'll explain those in the second video next week. So let's have a look and see what you need to do. You remember the like and subscribe routine. If you like this video, please click the like, and we'd sure appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It really helps us make videos like this. Let's get on with the show. Now let me just clarify. What we're talking about today is two-factor authentication. And from this list, you'll see that I have two-factor authentication enabled on all these accounts: Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, LastPass, PayPal, GoDaddy, Twitter, and MailChimp. All these are protected because two-factor authentication is turned on. What I'm talking about today is Google. Google is making you turn on two-factor authentication for protection. This is what the 5 things you need to do to make sure that this process occurs smoothly. Tip number 1 is do not share an email address. In my 10 years of working at Silvercom CTC, a computer club at Mesa, I found that about 20% of people had a shared email address, such as marthaandjohn@gmail.com. This does not work well for two-factor authentication. Part of the problem with that is that your email address in most cases is the name on your Google account. It is actually your Google account. So you're not just sharing an email address, but you're sharing a Google account, and this does not work. It will become apparent how this turns out in the next video. Now in Martha's case, I would recommend Martha, if she wants to, she could continue using the name marthaandjohn@gmail.com, but John should have his own Gmail account. Now he probably has an Android phone, and if he does, he actually will have an email account and a Google account with that name on it. Tip number 2, you will require your own cell phone. Two-factor authentication is going to work by sending what we call a push notification to your cell phone to authorize entrance into your account. If your wife has the cell phone uptown, then you're not going to be getting into your Google account. So each member of the family is going to require a cell phone. Tip number 3, you will need to know what your Google account is and password. Now this may seem very obvious, but associated with your Android cell phone is a Google account, and you need to know what Google account was used to set up that phone. You can find that in the settings. Otherwise, when you get your push notification, it won't be going to the right. Know what your Google account is and password. Now, in most cases, this is your Gmail address and password. If you're using an iPhone, the process is just a bit different. You will need to know what your Apple ID is and password. If you don't, oh my gosh, go down to the Apple Store and see if you can get that sorted out. Once you do, you will, if you use any Google products on your iPhone, such as Chrome or Gmail, then you will be required to log into your account and you will get a notification on your iPhone, very similar as it is on Android. The two-factor authentication has been built into Safari for a number of years now. Now, tip number 4, you will be required to receive an SMS text message. Whoa, what's all that about? Most of you are probably receiving texts on your phone through messaging apps, such as WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. There's over 100 apps that will send you a text to your phone. This is not what we use in two-factor authentication. We use what we call SMS texting, which is through the cell phone company you're dealing with. This is where the SMS text will come through your cell phone provider, and it actually lands in the same place the messaging apps are on your phone, so it looks pretty much the same. But it does come from your cell phone provider through a separate service. And the example I've given you is an old cell phone. We had SMS text messaging before internet was discovered or invented or created. So this is a very secure method by which you can receive text, and this is how you'll be getting the notification on your cell phone for two-factor authentication. Now, I don't think this should be a hardship on you, as that almost all cell phone plans I've ever seen allow you to receive a SMS text message. You won't need to send the message, you just need to receive it. So you should be okay with this one. Tip number 5 is please keep your cell phone number. Now, this is going to be a big change for snowbirds going south, because I know if you're Canadian and you head south, you're all going and getting a consumer cellular SIM card and getting a US number while you're in Mesa, Arizona, enjoying the sun. This is a very bad idea and will not work with two-factor authentication. I've given lots of courses on travel around the world and how purchasing local SIM cards can be a great way to get cheap internet. Well, unfortunately, this just isn't going to work anymore because your two-factor authentication is tied to your phone number. So you must keep that phone number. Do not swap out another SIM card while you're traveling. You won't be able to get into your Google account. Well, this week, if you notice something new, like when you go to log into your Google account, your phone buzzes, and there's a notification there saying, "Is this really you?" You'll know then that Google has turned on two-factor authentication for your account. You should be fine if you follow these steps. I'll have a complete video on this for our next week's show, and I'll link it in the link below here as well. I think most of you will find this an easy transition. I'm happy Google is doing this. I think this is going to offer extra security and protection for you. So until we see you again next week, it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Bye now. All right, there might be some, I'm going to hold questions on that. There are probably lots of questions, and we can certainly address those in the question and answer at top of the hour. Hewie, are you ready to roll?
I am. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Tech for Seniors present the website of the week with Hewie Poplock.
I'm Hewie Poplock. The website of the week, number 4, the Wayback Machine. No, not Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine. It's the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine at archive.org. I mentioned this last week when I talked about the Internet Archive. You go to archive.org and you just type in a URL or some keywords and you'll get the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine contains 624 billion web pages. 750 million pages are captured per day, and 550,000 users are on the Wayback Machine per day. Why would we want to look back at a website? One is nostalgia, or history, the history of a club, an organization, a company, whatever the website was. Recently, an organization contacted me that they were interested in a website. They had one and lost contact with the person who developed it. They didn't have the password. And so I went and through the Wayback Machine was able to look at it, reclaim some graphics, and reclaim some of the images, and reclaim some of the information to be used at least in research and putting together a new website. And then just plain old curiosity is another reason to look back at a website. This is how you get to it. Here is an example. It brings up a list of all of the dates that it had checked the website and gives you a calendar that you can choose which snapshot to look at. This happens to be a website of a company that I used to own, a computer company. This was from January 25th, 1999. It shows the number of visitors since 1996 of January. However, that number doesn't show because that was coming from a different website. Here are some of the things we had on our website, including classes on the internet. TSD Systems is conducting seminars about the internet for those who want to learn more about what the net is and how it functions. Entrepreneurs and business professionals will discover the lucrative benefits of using the internet, advertising, and doing business in cyberspace by attending this 3-hour seminar. You will see ways in which you can operate much more efficiently. Times certainly have changed. Let's go to my website, Hewie.net. It's been saved 229 times since the year 2000. It actually went online in 1995. Here's what it looked like in 2000. And this was December 4th, 2000. And you could choose topics. And those topics were, so this started out as my bookmark list and making it public. Then let's look at another date. Let's look at July 11th, 2011. And I had changed the website. And on the WinSig page on my website, it says, I have led the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group for over 15 years. That was in 2011, 10 years ago, and I'm still leading that group. So I've been doing it for over 25 years. And here's some information from my blog and from the welcome page. Here's the blog. Let's go to December 19th, 1996 for the Central Florida Computer Society. December 19th, 1996. This is what their website looked like. This was the program that was being presented by Symantec, Run Your PC by Remote Control, PC Anywhere 32. Remember those days? And this was June of 2002. The website changed its look. And then also in May of 2009, let's take a look at the leadership. The president was Stan Wallner. Stan's the president currently. I was vice president at the time. One of the directors was Ted Goodwin and Mike Ungerman. You've probably met on some of the programs. Bob Black is still a member of the board of directors of CFCS. Here's that whole page. If you kind of glance at it, you'll see my picture several times, see Stan's and Mike's picture, and some of the others several times at it. This is another page from May of 2009, where Glenn Cofield from Smart Guys Computer. Smart Guys is still a major supporter of the Central Florida Computer Society. So this is the website of the week, the Wayback Machine. I'm Hewie Poplock.
Well, you went way back, eh?
And you can pick whatever website you want. Most likely they had captures of it, and it's a lot of fun and a good time waster if you have nothing else to do.
Yeah, and imagine how they store all that stuff. Like, that just boggles my mind. I don't understand that, how they store that. That's just incredible, eh? All right. Yes. Now the next, Bob is going to show us a new feature in the Chrome browser. I use this all the time. This is so cool. You'll find, because we're always sharing articles we want to watch and so on and so forth. So Bob, show us this.
Something new in the latest release of Google Chrome browser. If you've updated to version 96, there's a nice new feature as part of this new release that you might find as interesting as I did. Let me show you what I'm talking about. When you highlight a part of an article that you'd like to share with others, it becomes very easy. Just highlight what you want to share, do a right click, and you'll find something that says copy link to highlight. Select it. Now, if you want somebody else to be able to get to this article and you start off your conversation with them with the information you just posted, very simple. Go to your email, and in this case, I'm going to send it to myself. Do a right click, paste, and what I just highlighted is now in the form of a link. So I'll send this thing out. Here's the email I just received with the link. And when I click on this link, it takes me right back to that article that I wanted to share with someone else. And the part that I created a link to is highlighted, but it gets the information to someone else who you'd like to take a look at that particular article. Nice little addition. By the way, if you don't like it and don't intend to use it, you can disable it. For me, this makes life a lot easier. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope this helps.
So if you're looking at an article and it's a 3-page article, and on the 3rd page, there's a paragraph about something I want Bob to have a look at. And I'm doing this all the time. And I say, okay, so I can just do what Bob showed you how to do. When Bob gets that link, then when he clicks the link, it'll scroll down right to page 3, right to that particular paragraph I want him to look at. And this is such a big advantage, because normally if I send Bob, if it's a 3-page article and I say, oh, Bob, can you look at page 3, paragraph, whatever, he's got to go and find it and, look at, figure out where it is. Or if you just send the link, then he's got to read the whole article. So this takes you right. This is just great. I think it's great, Bob. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, it's really, really good. Now, I will say, we talked about this on one of the other support groups I frequent, and it works on most places, but it doesn't work on all places as you travel around. So you may find that it doesn't work everywhere. So it is but it works in most places and is very good. Ray, before I stop our live stream, I think that's the next thing. Are you ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just let me say goodbye to those people over on our YouTube stream. We have 83 people still here, so there's lots of room to come over if you want to pop over and participate at top of the hour in our Q&A session. That's great. Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. All right, let's go, Ray.
All righty. Today will be not so much toe tapping, I'm sorry to say, but more about information, hopefully something that'll be of interest. And I'm titling today The Evolution of a Song, and the song I think everyone has heard, The Lion Sleeps Tonight by the Tokens. That reached number 1 in 1961. And in those days, record companies would typically release a 45 RPM disc, and with what they anticipated to be the hit song, they'd call that the A-side. And then often a throwaway song was the B-side. So in this case, the song The Lion Sleeps Tonight was the B-side, with the song titled Tina, which I'm guessing most of you have never heard, as the A-side. Well, as the story goes, the disc jockey in Worcester, Massachusetts decided to flip the record over and play the B-side, something that cannot be done today with digital song files. Immediately, listeners started calling the radio station, clamoring to hear that song again. And then they did, and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, the real history, though, begins way back in 1938, when South African singer Solomon Linda wrote a song titled Mbubi. That's Zulu for the lion. He recorded the song a year later with his group, the Evening Birds, and it went on to become a major hit song in South Africa when it was released as a 78 RPM record. Fast forward to the early 1950s, and a copy of this record ends up in New York City and into the hands of well-known folk singer Pete Seeger. He listened to the record, but of course could not understand the lyrics, but he did like the call and response chant, which he heard as Wimaway. So this became the name of the song he recorded in 1952 with the Weavers. Fast forward again, this time to 1959, when the Kingston Trio do a cover version of Wimaway. Teenager Jay Siegel, the lead singer at the time for the vocal group The Tokens, loved this version and brings the song to the attention of management at their label RCA Records so they can record it. The label adds just 3 English language stanzas while keeping the chants pretty much intact. Now, research will tell you the song The Lion Sleeps Tonight had been the subject of a major copyright dispute between the Solomon Linda estate and the Disney Company for its use of the song in the film and musical stage productions of The Lion King. The good news is an undisclosed settlement was reached between these parties in 2006. Now, before I go on, I always like to include a little trivia. Neil Sedaka was the original lead singer of the Tokens on their very first release, a song titled While I Dream. But he then left the group to pursue a solo career, which we all know about, of course, years before The Lion Sleeps Tonight was released. A little bit of sad news. Phil Margo, another founding member of the Tokens, passed away earlier this month at the age of 79 after suffering a stroke. Phil's also worked as a music producer and television writer. Now, the audio in today's video clip is the original song from the late 1930s by Solomon Linda and the Evening Birds. And the video is actually going to be pictures of the beauty of the African continent and its inhabitants. And now you know the rest of the story.
Well, actually, Ray, the story goes on. I need a little help from some of my Mesa friends, though, because Ray, did you know that the lead singer in the Tokens that sang that song was actually performing in Mesa, Arizona? Now I'm trying to remember his name, and I'm trying to remember the group. He was very close to our resort, and we went and listened to him a number of times. He had he married into a group. Who's ever in Mesa, help me out with this. I can't remember the name of the group. I'm having a seniors moment, but they were a family. Was the what was the family name called? And we went there all the time to see. And he was married into the family, and he was one of the Tokens. They eventually broke up, and he had another group in Mesa area. And George Starkle, yeah. Chris Erzinski. George, what was it? The Starkle family, yeah, George Starkle, and he unfortunately died on stage when he separated from the group, and he was going to another group in the Mesa area and had a massive heart attack and died on the stage. But George Starkle was had a massive heart attack, yeah, and died. But what was the group called? I didn't see that. Anyway. Barleen, the Barleen sisters. That's right, the Barleen, the Barleen sisters, and they have a whole big auditorium just close to where our resort was, and we used to go. They're very popular, the Barleen sisters, and and George Starkle was in the original Tokens, and he sang that song, and he would always do that as his every night at all the shows. He would do that song, and that was sort of cool. And he'd talk all about the Tokens right in Mesa, Arizona.
I'm going to say I don't think George was part of the original Tokens that were from Brooklyn, New York, that started in 1958. There were many different groups that had that name, but I don't know. I can't tell you each name, but I know I don't recognize George.
He was from New York.
He was from member.
Yeah, he may not be original, but he was from New York, and it was because he always talked about it, so it was sort of cool. Chris Erzinski probably saw him, and most people who winter in Mesa would have seen the Barleen girls. All right, great. Well, thanks, Ray. That was really cool. I was, yes, great. Thanks so much.
Welcome.
All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. We, of course, are going to move into our question and answer period now. And if you have to leave early, don't forget that we have our premiere service coming on at 1/2 past, and we have a whole bunch of people talking today. We have, of course, Dewey's going to be talking on browser extensions. Ray, you're talking, remember Windows Hello? Do you remember your segment on Windows Hello?
Yeah, we're using a facial recognition camera to sign on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah, exactly. You did it a year ago. Yeah, you did it a year ago. And Hewie's going to talk on tips and trips for your Chromebook, and I'm going to talk on Chromebook apps. These are a blast from the past. This is all what happened a year ago at this time, and that will be on at 1/2 past on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to open it up now for question and answer. If you have any questions about two-factor authentication, any questions about what's going to be happening to you, we will we'll certainly open it up for questions. If you want to click the button at the bottom under reactions and just raise your hand up, then you pop up to the top of the list. We have everyone's still here, so we can answer any questions, comments, or whatever. We'll keep going for about 20 minutes. Then we're going to give you about a 10-minute rest before the next part of the show. Michael from Ottawa, Canada, you're top of the list. Welcome. What can we help you with?
I have just two quick questions for you, Gron. One of them is about the Google two-factor.
Mm-hmm.
My wife got nailed with that. And so I messed around with her account a little bit, and you still can go in and disable the 2FA.
So you can manually go in and disable it.
That's correct.
And I would assume that would still be the case because, of course, it is if you don't follow the guidelines I gave you, things are going to get horribly confused. So for certain people, it probably would be a very, it's just not going to work. I remember I gave a talk at our computer club once, it was 4 or 5 years ago, and and of course, everybody started enabling two-factor authentication. And our Friday afternoon support group, I spent the whole afternoon disabling it all for everybody. so you have to.
That's pretty much been my opinion about 2FA. I spent 25 years in security for the federal government here.
Right.
And when 2FA came out, I played with it, and then I unplayed with it because I found it extremely cumbersome.
I find it to be something very easy to use once properly set up.
Right.
Because all you get is a little message, is this you?
Right.
The answer, of course, is you press yes or no.
Right.
If it's not you, then it's no. If it is you, it's yes. That's it. That's
it.
But that's not the way it works with other things. I know maybe with Google it works that way, but with other companies, it's always, I have to send you a code and you better enter it in or you can't get in to pay your bill.
Right.
That's why I wasn't very happy about it.
Right.
The good thing is if somebody gets your ID, okay, and your password, they're not going to get the code because they don't have your phone. So it prevents somebody else from getting to your information, even though they've stolen your sign-in information.
That's the theory. And I have one other quick question. In the last, I guess, a month or so, I've been replacing my Chrome browser, and I'm using a browser called Brave. I find that the performance on it is just extremely wonderful. Any comments by anybody?
Yeah, Mike Underman just did a real good presentation on Brave for the Central Florida Computer Society, and it's on their channel on YouTube. And it's quite secure and leaves out a lot of information that gets passed around.
It is not only secure, but it's extremely fast.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for your comments.
Thank you.
Earl, do you have any questions or comments?
Well, one comment on what we were just talking about. I was on my Google accounts this weekend, and the checkbox is still there to uncheck two-factor. So I don't know how that is going to work. But my question really was, you were talking about having using two phone numbers on your phone. I remember maybe before SIM cards were used that you could have two phone numbers simultaneously on your cell phone to work. Is that
Yeah,
the case?
I think that'll be
How
more
would that work?
right. I think it'll be more apparent to you once I do the second video on how this is going to work. All right, and you'll see it. What is going to happen is that the menus are going to change. In other words, what Bob and I and Hewie, or who we all use two-factor authentication, what we've set up is going to be different from the auto enroll. When you auto enroll into the system, when Google auto enrolls you, it will all be based on your recovery phone number, and that's the number that you put into your Google account. Now, I'm assuming that the recovery phone number that you put in is going to be your cell phone number, all right? And that will be the number where the push notification is going to go to. And you will not have the option initially when this is set up automatically with Google of doing an authenticator app or or getting an SMS text message. It'll all be based on push notifications, and that will go to the phone number that you have set up in your recovery password. So that's just how they're going to roll out this to the first 150 million people. So that comes up. And so the problem would be is if you had only one phone number and your wife had the phone uptown and you wanted to get into your account at home, then it's going to be a little difficult because the push notification would be going to your wife's phone. So that's why I'm mentioning, everyone just needs to have, I think most people would have their own cell phone. Now, once this is all set up, then we can talk about next week your app and some of the other ways push that this will work. There are many different ways that this is going to work, but initially when Google sets this up and just automatically says you've got it, then this is what's going to happen. Does that help? Does that answer it?
Sort of.
Right. It is important that it is, and most of the confusion in the last 10 years, most of the support calls and all the confusion usually ends up when people are sharing a Google account, they're sharing a phone, or they're sharing, and the sharing just doesn't work for this.
Earl, if you have two SIM cards on one phone, one is your main number, and that is where your push notification will wind up going.
Right.
So you can have two numbers, but push notification for two-factor will always go to your default or your main phone number.
Right. All right. Does that answer? You'll see next week with the following video how it will work a little bit easier. But it is really important that in your Google account, in the recovery phone number, that you do put your cell phone number. If you don't trust Google and you've put the local fire department or a 911 number in, or you've left it blank, then you're going to be into the glue. Actually, you probably won't. If you don't have a proper number in there, you won't be part of the first 150 million that automatically are getting converted. George, go ahead. Hello, George. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
We have a policy at our computer club that no one person can lock out everybody else from the account, and we use a Gmail account, Victoria Computer Club at gmail.com. And this would be this two-factor authentication would be a problem if one person holds the two-factor authentication device. They could theoretically lock out everybody else.
Correct.
So I don't know how that's going to work for us.
If you have a Google account, which is a workspace account? What is it? I can't remember. If you have
there's an option for nonprofits to enroll.
and that will turn it off, and it doesn't.
But that's really complicated. I mean, I'm pretty tech savvy, and I tried to figure out this Google workspace thing for organizations, and I don't know that it overcomes the problem anyway, because if one person holds, I mean, you may remember that in San Francisco, one person held the password for all the routers of the city in their metropolitan network. and he went rogue and held the city to ransom for a long time, and they had to spend millions of dollars reprogramming their Cisco routers. So
Right.
it's a very dangerous situation for an organization to get into, especially a volunteer organization where not everybody gets along forever, all
Right.
all nice and friendly, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm not playing with this. I'm just walking out of here." If they hold the only keys to your digital assets, you're in trouble. And that's one reason why we take our domain name password, we split it into 3 pieces, and each of 3 people hold 2 parts of it, so that any 2 people can overcome what one person may try to do.
It also has a big effect on websites as well, because if you have a website that has, someone has built that and then has the keys to the website and then leaves and then doesn't give you the keys, then you're in the same pickle. I think, George, what one of the problems is that when we're talking about Google accounts, we're talking about what we're really talking about is most of the Google accounts that you and I have are meant for one person. They're individual licensed accounts. They're not meant for clubs or multiple people to be using them. And I think therein lies part of the problem. And so it is always a big challenge with security. And in those situations, I think you just have to turn it off. But remember, a password of hockey is not much of a password. So, that's again, what are the other options and how are you going to, organize your security? And that ends up being,
well, a strong password, a really strong password created by LastPass is something we all use. And,
right.
But I don't poo-poo passwords as much as some people do. Yes, if you're using a weak password, it's a problem. The solution is not to, in my view, is not to enforce 2-factor authentication. I put it on for my key accounts. Like I have 3 accounts. My Google account has it on, always did. But it's like you say, it's a personal account, and it works great for personal accounts, right?
Right.
It doesn't work for organizational accounts.
Guaranteed that you're going to have a way of bypassing it.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. And so anyway, we'll talk more about that next week when I explain how it actually is going to work. Dorothy, go ahead.
Does it affect my Chromebook?
Yes, for sure. Your 2-factor authentication, it will be the same. It'll be exactly the same thing. Well, it'll work. You already have that already set up in your Chromebook, because your Chromebook can actually talk to your phone and give you authorization. It actually is already done on your Chromebook, right? Yeah, because there's a link in your settings where you can link it to your phone, all right, and that will send a push notification right to your phone, and it will authorize you to it'll tell whether you're going to authorize the account or not. So it's already set up in a Chromebook, but your Chrome is already part of the Google account system, right? So that's exactly.
So is there a danger of getting a new Android cell phone while this is all going on, or will it just?
No, because when you get your new phone, if you get a new Android phone, when you set up an Android phone, it's going to say, what is your Google account? And you're going to put your Google account in, and then you're going to put your password in. The problem comes in is people don't know what their Google, that's why I mentioned in the video, they don't know. And where I see all the support problems, people don't know what their Google account is. And they go to Best Buy, and Best Buy, the happy guy at Best Buy says, well, what's your Google account? And they say, well, I don't have a Google account. I've never heard of Google before. So he makes one up for them, right? They have a Gmail account. Well, if you have a Gmail account, then you have a Google account. So now he set up a second account on the phone. So the phone is linked to the wrong account. So that means all the pictures they take on their phone don't go in Google Photos, yada, yada, yada. It goes on and on and on, right? I mean, those are the common support calls that we get and stuff that happens. So as long as you set it up, and so it's all in the right account, you should have no problems whatsoever. This is going to be so easy. All that's going to happen is when you go to log in on your PC, you're going to log into your PC, and it's going to say, you're going to get a push notification to your phone, and a little thing on the notification is going to pop up on your phone and say, is this really you? And you say yes, and that's it. That's all you have to do. It's so simple. That's all that you have to do. But if you don't have the account set up correctly, it will be a problem. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Earl, go ahead.
It should be emphasized that the strength of the password that you have does not mean that you shouldn't have two-factor identification, because the
Right.
danger with the password is it'll be stolen.
Right, exactly.
Not
Correct.
strength.
That's
So no
correct.
matter how strong the password is,
Yes,
the
yes.
danger is it'll be stolen, and that then two-factor really protects you.
That's exactly the point. Thanks for mentioning that. That's exactly it. It's not
it's highly unlikely that the same person who stole your password and your username at the same time will also have stolen your smartphone. And if they don't have both, they won't get in if you have two-factor authentication enacted.
Correct. Thanks, Earl. That's a very good point. Thank you for mentioning that. That's exactly it. Marshall, go ahead.
What about the millions of users that have Google accounts that don't have cell phones?
Well, that's a very interesting situation, and I guess the question really is how many people. Like, I know a lot of people with computers and cell phones, and I just don't know that many that don't have a cell phone. But it will be. There are other ways, and I'm going to talk about that next week, because there are other ways in which this will work for you. But it is a big issue, and I think probably as we move forward in life, you're going to need a cell phone. It's really and the cell phone is just the second factor. It's the way that we actually deliver the second factor to you. The second factor could be delivered on your Chromebook. Your Chromebook would be an app, and it could be delivered there. There are other devices that it could be delivered to, but we need a second factor. Has to be something other than your computer.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Ron, I'd like to add that sometimes second factor can be email, but
Right.
email is not as secure as an SMS message.
Well, the point is that is you'll find that when I talk next week about this is, for example, my bank down in Mesa gives you an option to get your second factor by email. Well, that's dumb, because if someone's broken into your account and hacked in and they've got your email, they're simply going to send the second factor to the bad guy, right? So that just that's not secure at all.
Second email meaning a different email address than your Google account. Okay,
Right.
So if you have a Hotmail account, again, that person who stole your Gmail identity doesn't necessarily have your Hotmail account. It will be sent to your Hotmail, and that's where you have to identify yourself.
Yeah, and the point of what Ron's trying to say is know all of this up front before it happens to you, so that you have a second phone number, or you have the right phone number or the right email address, and that you know your password.
John, go ahead. John Flower.
Yes, back on passwords. I'm into genealogy, and I've got about 1 million ancestors, and I will choose any one of them, enter their initials, capitalizing one of those letters. Then I will put in the symbol, and followed by their birth date in numeric order, followed by another symbol. I get a report back that it's pretty secure.
Right, but John, what the problem is that, as I said, just the company just released the most common password in Canada is hockey. Like, give me a break. What do you do with that?
It isn't even so much that, Ron. The most secure password, when the account gets hacked,
right?
I don't care how secure your password is, it's gone. Somebody else now has it. Right. So the only way to protect yourself is if two-factor authentication is enacted, that password alone will not get somebody to your account, because unless they've also stolen that second way of contacting you, they can't verify.
Right.
Plain and simple.
That's right. Donna, go ahead. Donna, can you unmute? Hello, Donna. Maybe Donna's gone. Carl, can you unmute and
Can you hear?
Yep, yep, got it. Yep.
All right. Well, Bob stole my thunder, went out of my sail when I was going to say use an email, but a different one than Google. But the other problem I did have with this two method password is I changed my phone number. My cell phone.
You can't do that.
Oh my goodness! I
yeah,
tell you what trouble I had to log in. Oh my, because it kept, I had no other alternative. But luckily, I think what I was able to do, I forget what I was able to go into that account and change it to the new number.
Yes.
But then I was wondering how many places that I used that old number. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm faced with the same.
This is Donna. This is a Kindle. I have the worst time getting around in it. Anyway, I have 3 Google accounts, 3 different names in Google accounts. So I have 2-factor on my primary one for email. But when I open my Gmail to pick which login, I usually pick that primary and I get the 2-factor. So what happens to the other 2? Because they usually respond. I mean, they usually just open.
Those other 2 emails are separate Google accounts. So you'll have a recovery number in there, and you'll get a 2-factor authentication once you set it up on those other accounts. It will also have 2-factor authentication for the other accounts.
Okay, thank you.
All
I
right.
just do it.
Yeah. Okay. And Steve, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, if the host of a Zoom meeting has already set up the meeting and you're in it, is it possible for the host to turn on that live transcript function?
Yes, so the live transcript function is actually a setting in your Zoom. When you set your Zoom meeting up in the settings control of your Zoom account, you can enable live transcript, okay?
Yeah, but if he hasn't already done that and starts the Zoom meeting,
I think it has to be set up initially and allowed. And if you haven't set that up in your settings under
say you were hosting a Zoom meeting and you forgot to turn it on, and everybody came in like we're in now, what would you do?
You'd have to wait till the next meeting.
Yeah.
Or kick everybody out and start over again.
Right. But Steve, it's unlikely that would happen, because once you've done it once you've set up it in your master in your Zoom account, once you've done it once, you'll never have to do it again. Right. So you don't worry about it. Just do it once and that's it. You don't have to worry about it. Then it will always be there for you.
Okay, so if Lloyd does it again at the next meeting, then we know he hasn't set his thing.
Yeah, you got to do it in your Zoom account. It's in the advanced settings in it.
Yeah, because he had us all trying to figure out how to turn the damn thing on, and there was no way to do it.
Right,
no,
you won't see it.
He has to do it in the master settings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, do you have a quick question? Because we're 20 minutes past the hour. What's the?
Yes. Just a comment on the 2-factor authentication. What happened was when it surprised me a couple of weeks ago, and when it came in, it apparently flipped on the screen without me ever having to go to messaging to find it, and I didn't realize it, and I flipped that off the screen. And when I did that, I no longer was able to click the button that says yes, that's me. And so they offered several other ways right on the screen without me having to do anything to do the 2-factor authentication when the first kind didn't work. So it doesn't leave you in the nowhere land. It tries to get you to do it one way or another. That's my comment.
Okay, thanks. And we'll be going into that next week for the video. And Roberta, one last quick question before we go.
I just wanted to say that I have multiple Gmail accounts, and when Google got me because I had my fiber optics installed, then after I did the craziness with the first Google account, the Gmail just asked me if I want to add another Gmail, and that's what I do. That's the way I open my second and third one, is as an add-on to the first. So I didn't have to go through 2-factor authentication with both the second and the third Gmail account. they're all under the same Google account.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. We are now at 24 minutes past. We have to leave now. I want to thank everyone for coming. Obviously, this is a good topic, and you'll see the second video next week when I discuss all the different methods of two-factor authentication. Have a good week. Enjoy yourself. Don't forget, in 6 minutes from now, Ray will be talking on Windows Hello, along with the rest of us on different topics. So if you want to watch that, that'd be great. Otherwise, we will have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. We
Eat
will
lots of turkey.
Eat lots of turkey, and you'll sleep like crazy with all that tryptophan in the turkey pills that make you so sleepy. So have a great rest, and we will see everybody next Monday. Remember, no Tech for Senior Live this week. So anyway, we will see everybody in another week's time. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.